my dear friends, a very good evening to one and all present here. As we all know, now we are gathered here for the second session of our Industry Academia Interactions, and we have Mr. P.T. George as our guest here. I request our respected principal, Dr. Pradeep sir, to address our chief guest.
Good evening, one and all. So, welcome back to the Industry Interface program. We are indeed fortunate to have one of the eminent personalities in industry as our guest. Okay, Mr. P.T. George, the Vice President of Human Resources and Administration in V-Guard Industries, is going to address you today. So, V-Guard, all of you know, dear friends, is known for the best practices in the industry. Let it be marketing, HR, or operations. V-Guard is one of the organizations is known for the best managerial practices. And accordingly, we have, the eminent personality, Mr. P.T. George. He is going to share you insights related to human resources management. So it's indeed a pleasure to welcome you, sir, on behalf of Kochi Business School and all the students present here. Let me extend a warm welcome to you, sir. I also welcome our Dean Corporate Relations, Dr. Alexander Itti. Okay, he has been instrumental in organizing this wonderful program. Welcome to you, sir. I welcome all the faculty members and my dear students. Please make use of the opportunity, be interactive. So here we have one of the eminent, resource persons. Make use of the opportunity. Okay, don't bother about your, whatever constraints you feel. Okay, it doesn't matter. So you have to be interactive and, make use of the platform. All the best to you. Welcome to you once again, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. As our principal mentioned, Mr. P.T. George is a senior general manager in HR at V-Guard Industries since 2012. He is a well experienced as a HR head from several Indian companies and institutions. I, Aishwarya Dilip, on behalf of KBS, consider it a great honor to welcome you, sir.
You can start.
So you can start, sir.
Can I share the screen also? I think.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sure, you can.
I think you need to give the access. You're able to see the screen?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Audio is also clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Professor Pradeep, Dr. Alexander Itti, and the faculties and dear students. This is in fact an opportunity for me to interact with the new gen youngsters. So COVID time is a difficult time. When I look back, I see the most difficult time in my career over the last 35 years in HR. I would say the most difficult time was the strike, lockout, and termination of 2,400 employees in Madura. That was in 92-93 period. It's a difficult time. We had to take tough decision because the unions were very agitating. A lot of problems. We did not get support from the police. And we had to, in fact, that was immediately after the Kuwait war. So our MD, John Shaw, also said, if you can take out your people, you take out your people and abandon the place and go. That was the message we were given. So we came out. Within half an hour, a lot of issue started coming inside the factory or mill. It was a textile mill. So if we were inside, we should have been beaten, very severely impacted. And after that, we had to practically live underground, because wherever there are strikes happening, lockouts happening, people used to be aggressive and attack the management staff. So practically 3-4 months I was underground, not allowed to move. That time there was no mobile also. So we had to be available next to the telephone, so that we are able to communicate with our corporate office and the local location. So that was one of the most difficult time I have experienced. And then, we have gone through the process of the legal battle, and then we won the case. After that, this is the second time we are going through a similar phase of tough time. The COVID has changed, the entire scenario has changed. We were very comfortably going to the office. Our office was not an air-conditioned office. Then, we have grown, and there was shortage of space in the office. That time we thought about it, how we can expand the infrastructure. And we were advised that if we can go for an air conditioning, maybe 40% capacity we can increase. So we don't have to construct one more building. With the same building we can manage. We have done it. And now after this one, at least with the COVID thing, we have gone into a different scenario. We have the office, all facility, infrastructure, everything is there, but we are not able to occupy the office or use it as normal. The scenarios like, the social distancing, starting from, when we start from home, mask is there, social distancing is there. When we reach the office, the temperature checking is there. And then on restrictions coming, lift also 4 people only, staircase also 1 meter distance. When you go to the canteen, there also in a table only 2 people can sit. And when you go to the office, there are 6 feet distance is required. Like that, there are a lot of restrictions and a lot of issues are there. So with all these restrictions coming in, and we in HR, this is an opportunity for us to shoulder the responsibility of managing the activity. There are a lot of, the Government of India, Ministry of Home Affairs also has come up with a lot of guidelines, standard operating procedures, SOPs, government orders are there, monitoring of, this has to happen. And there are multiple cross-functional teams are there to monitor the activity across the country. We have 11 factories, 30 branches, 32 warehouses. So it is spread across the country, and we need to be reaching out to each and every office through constant communication with our people. So that is a challenge we are facing. We'll come back to that later. You are reading that the every challenge is an opportunity. Sometime back, at least we were also looking at seriously considering about how do we manage our office space. Large amount of space is required to be kept for maintaining the personal files of employees. And we thought how we can change it. We thought of the couple of options. One was that there was a company called Writers Corporation. What do? They provide office space where you can keep all your documents safely in their office. And whenever it is required, they will retrieve it and then give it back to us. And then they will charge a fees also. And then we also looked about it, that is a serious option we were considering. And then we got another option of going for a digital document management system. And we got another vendor who was able to digitize all our existing files and make it into a simple document in our managed in a cloud environment, wherein if I wanted to open a personal file of any employee, we have 2,307 employees now. Any of the employees' personal file, I can do that through my laptop without anybody's help and within a few seconds. So that is a great opportunity which has come to us. And we made use of this opportunity and then switched over to so many automation in our activities. A couple of days back, I was reading in the newspaper that now people are looking at similar facility to keep their household items. People are all working from home for the last 4 or 5 months. So they are expected to pay the rent, house rent, though they are not occupying it. It'll be huge spending, maybe 15,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees or more in the major the metros and cities. So this option, there were multiple companies now. I was surprised to see they were saying that at least, okay, it is a single point of contact. They will provide everything. They will monitor their thing. All facility will be provided by them. Insurance, tracking, all areas. There are no challenges. We will be able to manage it. So storage space on demand, pay for use, easy access, insurance, protection, all this are provided for this facility. And I could see, in a few seconds, couple of other organizations also like this. I saw Stove Nest, Stovagians, Safe Storage. There are a lot of organizations which has come up. So what do? Instead of the huge amount of rent, they are able to provide 3,000 rupees, 2,500 rupees, pack everything of their household items and then keep it in their warehouse and safely maintain it. So cost-wise, maybe at 20% of your cost, you can maintain your household items in a remote location. So this is how the challenging time people are looking at converting the challenges into an opportunity. So that is what we should be looking at. Whatever challenges are coming, we cannot be running away from them and say that at least, okay, I don't have a choice. I lost my job. I am, I have nothing to do. I don't have money. So how do I live? So this is a challenge for the new gen people also. We need to be looking at options like this coming up when nobody was imagining something like this in the past. So that is a scenario we are going through this. So we'll go through some of the challenges and phases, and then we'll come back to the COVID again. So you look at it now, the US economy, which is the largest economy, which is $21 trillion economy. They have the 1 lakh engineers passing out every year. We are also a small economy with $2.73 trillion Indian economy. In our case, we have now 15 lakh engineers are passing out every year. So when you look at it now, is it possible for us to manage this many engineers in our country? It is not possible. So we are unable to absorb so many in India. So what do? We make our people who can get employed anywhere in the world. So the focus of education, focus of training, focus of learning should be on a global basis. So that wherever you are anywhere in the world, you should be able to manage an activity or a career. So that is what we should be looking at. The scenario for the last quarter, at least we never expected this scenario will continue like this for 4 or 5 months. I remember that when we were thinking middle of March. So the COVID issue started in Kerala. So we were familiar with the scenario coming up in Kerala, Pathanamthitta, Kottayam area. Some of our dealers' shops were also being asked to close because some of the people who were affected with COVID has visited these shops. So the issue started from there, and we had problems with multiple the people also getting affected, and then slowly it started spreading. Middle of March, we thought at least we may have to think about in case we need to close our office, how are we going to work? We never worked with the work from home environment, except 1 or 2 cases sporadically coming up with a genuine requirement, sometimes we allow them to work. But that is not something which we can think about it across the organization, across the country. So we thought that, no, at least, okay, why not we do make a trial run of one day, asking everyone to sit at home in our corporate office where 600 people are working, and let us see how we are able to work. So we sat through, few of us sat through, and then start thinking about now how are we going to work. And then we framed some of the, the conditions also. We said that no, every team will have a team level meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then these functional leaders will meet their HOD at 9:30. And then we will have the management committee at 11 o'clock. So that, no, at least let us assess how people are able to work when they are sitting at home and start working. So we have planned everything. We made a circular to announce. By the time there is an indication that in a few days' time, the government is going for declaring lockdown. So we thought about Tuesday. So we made it Monday, Tuesday for 2 days instead of 1 day. So we worked from home for 2 days. And third day onwards, government declared lockdown, and it continues for many months. So that is how it has suddenly, caught up. And then we have seen that there was the last financial year was badly affected because the sales what we expected in March did not come through. Maybe only about 25% of the trade, the sales only has happened. So we had practically zero sales month in April, and last year we had after 43 years, first time we had a degrowth also, and that was a business challenge. April was zero sale. May we slowly started. June we have picked up. July we have done close to last year, and August also we have done slightly above the last year thing. So a little bit market is improving, but you see that now the overall our GDP is also going down to 23.9% compared to the last year. So this is what the government is saying. Everyone it is affected. US is also affected. They are also negative. So the whole world is facing. So this is the scenario. So this is how it is coming. But to some extent, China is slightly breathing. So they are better at 3.2%, whereas we are all on the negative on the extreme side. So that's how it is going up. So we see that now the question is how relevant are we? How can we become, or how will you grow your relevance? So this is something which we need to be keep thinking about and then working about. So the adopt and adapt to skills in artificial intelligence, robotics. These are all areas where a lot of people are focusing. A lot of the new organizations, the entrepreneurs are coming up with a lot of the projects. So we need to focus on that. We need to work on intelligent process automation and upskill our people on our the business partner to strategic enabler. So a conventional activity may not work, but we need to be thinking about strategic enabler, so that how we will be able to work into to a better business environment. We are seeing that now all metros are affected. Mumbai is affected, Delhi is affected, Chennai is affected, all metros are affected. So business there also it is difficult. But rest of the country, the rural areas, maybe it is okay. Some activities are happening. So we were focusing on those areas. So wherever problems are there, we are not opening our branch offices. We are asking our people marketing people to work from home rather than coming to the office and then work. So they make calls, they have networked on our platform, and then, activities are happening. So similar to this, we need to be looking at being a strategic enabler. So that is something which we need to keep thinking about it. So how to keep you relevant, that is also important. So the relevance depends on competency and talent. Technology is secondary to people and process. We must upskill in strategy, management, and data sciences. We should be focusing on upskill. Our normal skill may not be sufficient to meet the challenges of today. So how we can do that, that will be the challenge for the academia. So we should be working on that. We should understand what is happening in the industry, and from there, how we can go ahead. So artificial intelligence in recruitment. This is another area, no, at least the priorities of talent acquisition function. When you look at it, no, the speed and quality of hire, this is very much important. Improving efficiency of the recruitment process, enhancing the candidate experience, these are all something on the priority side. When you look at it now, there are a lot of cases, we'll see in some of the slides later also. So the recruitments are coming down. We are not recruiting normal as we were doing it earlier. But at the same, we are not completely, we switched off from our normal activity. We are still hiring people. We are hiring people for some of the new products what we are planning. Maybe it may be getting delayed by a couple of months, but we are focusing on that and then doing that. But the quality of hire, when you look at it, no, it's very important. We are also saying that now when we are talking to people, there are organizations where 220 people out of 800 were asked to go. So these 200 people were not given any proper settlement or a voluntary retirement or anything. They were told that no, at least bonus will be given as and when it is required to be given. So their gratuity will be given probably before end of the financial year when the scenario improves. Like that, no, there is no salary paid, nothing. Many people, millions of people have lost their job. Millions of people are getting salary cut. That's what many people are saying. We are hiring some of them. They are saying that no, my salary is 40% of my salary is converted into variable pay. I don't know whether I'll get it or not, but balance only I am getting. So if you look at it now, this is a good time to hire also, because we may be able to attract people from the industry at lower salary. But there is a challenge or a risk involved in that also. We don't want to exploit the advantage of the bad time. There are people available. They are looking at the options, but we don't want to hire them at lower salary. We wanted to give them a reasonably good increase on their salary and then hire them, so that even the situation improves. They should not be thinking about going back and finding a job in some other company. So when the scenario comes back, there may be many people to hire, whereas in a bad time, people may be hesitating to hire. So whatever hiring we are doing, we are conscious, mindful, so that we are hiring for a long-term association. So the speed is also happening. We are able to get people, good quality people also. So that is happening. So we are able to attract people also. But at the same time, there are limitations in the industry. In many of the industry, we are struggling to get good talents, or the talents available in the industry is very limited. So my boss used to say that no, it is going to be a war between corporates. The war is for talent. So that's how the talents will be talent war will be the future war. So that is happening to some extent. People will be hiring also. When somebody is hiring or poaching, they may be giving a very high salary, so that it becomes a deterrent. They cannot be rehired from the organization. So that's how it will be happening. But still, there are shortages, but we are hiring. There are challenges. Time to hire. We were able to improve our hiring time significantly from 86 days to 19 days, from the request to issuing the offer acceptance level. Still, there will be some notice period. There also, in some cases, it may go up to 3 months. Some are 2 months, some are 1 month, some are jobless. So average, maybe we will be getting around 40-41 days. We are able to get people. So the performance of the candidates, we need to be assessing it. People are hesitating. Many people are not willing to relocate. So that is also another challenge which we are facing now. But the unavailability of skills, that is another area. We need to be very selective in hiring people. The gap between desired levels of skills or desired skill sets and the skills possessed by the candidate is huge. There is a big gap. So some of our managers say that no, if I am losing a manager from my team, I may have to look for three people to replace him, because the existing person may be homegrown over maybe 10 years, 15 years. He should have grown with the product, and he may be stretching himself to many activities. But whereas the people who are available in the industry, they may be working in a larger organization. What happens now when you are in a large organization? There your profile may be very specialized area. You may be doing only a small segment, because every segment, the volume will be more, so there will be more people handling the function. Whereas in a smaller organization, volume will be less, so one candidate may be handling multiple functions. So that will be the difference. So when you are hiring from a larger organization, the skill what we can get from him may be good in specific small area, but on a broader thing, we may have to look at multiple candidates also. So that will be the challenge we were seeing when we wanted to hire people in the recruitment segment. So similarly, when we look at it now, the COVID impact on some of the industry activities, there are salary cut happening. This is a study of 200 companies in India during April, May COVID time. So out of the participants, 36% says that no, there is a salary cut. 47% says there is no change. They did not get an increment. They did not get a salary cut also. And long-term incentives, they're saying that no, at least okay, in some cases there is a conversion happening. So this indicates that no, at least 50% of, close to 50% of the people or industry did not give the increment this year. Some has got the salary cut. Some people who are following the calendar year, whose calendar year starts in April or increment period starts in April, should have paid their increment in April. Some companies like at least on 1st April itself they should have paid, so they should have given. So majority of the people are outside the increments this year. So that's how the business. So there are issues happening. People doesn't have money to pay their salary. So if cash is not there, then there is an issue. There are so many cases also has gone to the Supreme Court. There were different arguments also on that. Maybe we will discuss that at the end of the discussion. And some of the impact on hiring, delay in hiring is happening because we are not very sure. When we were thinking about discussing about hiring, there are talk about recession is also there in 2020-21. So there are indications that we may go for a recession in 2021. If that is going to come, and then is it wise to go for a recruitment now? If we recruit people now, the scenario as of now, bad scenario will continue for a longer time, and then we don't know whether we will be able to pay the salary to the new recruits. And then what happens when they change their job? If they don't get salary, they will be on the street. So they lost their job, stable job, and they came to an experiment, and then they will be, going to the street is a big difficult scenario. So there is a delay also happening, and in some cases, we freeze on hiring also. Some of the areas, we are not hiring people. I would say that at least a 10% growth over last year, we should be able to manage without any addition on our headcount. With the same number of people we had last year, we should be able to make a 10% growth in our revenue. It should be possible. Or even if our headcount is 10% less, still we should be able to increase our revenue by 10% over last year. So that is the productivity we should be looking at gaining it. And we have taken a lot of effort in April, May that has gone through in training our people, reviewing our strategy, networking with the channel partners, building the confidence level of our people. Our people are also confident we should be able to do a much better job with a lesser number of people. So the April, May, though it was a very bad time, we were asked to ask people to sit at home doing nothing, or it was actually not doing nothing. They were fully engaged throughout extended time. So that's how it was happening. So that was also a great opportunity. We have utilized it to train our people. So that was happening. So freeze on hiring is happening, reduced hiring budget also. So this is how many of the companies are doing it. They may not be openly saying, but a lot of attrition has happened, including all premium organizations. And people are working, either they are reducing it or not replacing the attrition, so that they are able to work with a lower number of people. So there is an impact on learning and development also. So it is helping in a way going for a virtual classroom. We were also last 1 year working on a platform. We were on a LMS, learning management system. This is a virtual platform. We were into this for the last 4 or 5 years. We have been getting into the familiarized with the e-learning process, and then we have upgraded our partner from the earlier one to a much bigger platform, and that process was going on, and we were able to get connected with the 3,500 people online in our new platform. So this was very much useful in sharing many of the product training, soft skill training, customer interactions. A lot of activity we were able to do it through the online platform. So the virtual classroom, it was very effective. We could do it with a demonstration within a short period of time. It saves a lot of time, the travel time, the expenses connected with the classroom. If it is we are conducting it outside, the hotel expenses will come, food expenses will come, travel expenses will come. The faculty, in any case, partially we may have to pay. But all this, there is a good saving. But we are able to reach out to people very effectively through the virtual classrooms. 64% of the companies are switching over to webinars and e-learning. It is working well. A lot of certification courses people are undergoing. So that is a good change which is happening over the COVID time. So when we look at it now, what is the new way of working? So this is something which will be very interesting. We have seen that now the people say it is a 6 feet offices. There is social distancing. There's a company called the Cushman and Wakefield. It's a large multinational organization. They help 10,000 officers in China to move 1 million people back to work. Huge setting up, they were doing it. And this is becoming a trend. The office is becoming contactless pathways. Office door opens automatically using motion sensors and face recognition, etc. So we thought that at least, okay, we initially started with sanitizers, dispensers. So it was available in the market. We started using it. It was like, we press it and take the sanitizer. Then people, and the beginning of March, the government itself said that we need to stop using the biometric punching machines. They suspected that the COVID will be spreading through the biometric machines. So everyone was asked to stop the punching, and the government said no, you go back to the paper for marking your attendances. So that's how we started it. And then issues started coming in one after the other. People said that when you are touching the sanitizer bottle, you are getting touching with the material handled by many people. So we should go for automatic sanitizer dispensers. So from a manual one, it is innovative. We have seen that within no time, people started providing the foot operator sanitizer dispensers which came into the market. Our R&D people also have worked on that. They also provided that everywhere in our office, the pedal operator sanitizer were provided. Then our people started thinking that at least, okay, why not we go for an automatic one? Some of our electronics engineers also, they also come up with our own automatic dispensers. And then there was outside ones were also available at cheaper prices. So the sanitizer has gone into that level. Then people started thinking that, no, at least, okay, when you go to the washroom, you handle, many people handle the water taps. So that is also an area of risk. So we started thinking about it. We replaced all our the water taps in our office with a sensor-based water taps. The ordinary one may be costing 1,000 rupees. This is costing about 7,000 rupees. How many numbers we have to replace it? We'll have to go replace it. It is to keep people safe. That is, the safety was our major concern. So we have not thought much about the other one. So we have gone for a water sensor-based one. Then we realized that some of the access controls are there. So how do we manage that? We opened some of the doors and we stopped the visitors coming to the office. So the sensors may not be required. We can, we started thinking about it. Then people started thinking whether we can have automation on the lift without any touching, whether we will be able to operate the lift. A lot of suggestions are coming in. Multiple options are also coming up, whether you can do all this thing. So this is how the new challenges, new business opportunities are coming across the industry. Any business, there are a lot of options are coming in. So similar to that, the work from home, TCS with 4.5 lakh employees, they were about maybe 20% of their people should have been working with work from home. Now they are saying that 75% of their people will be working from home by 2025. Infosys said 40% of their people will be working from home. So there are some advantages also. There is a cut in commute time. So I travel about 30 to 45 minutes one way. So I could be saving 1 hour to 1.5 hours saving in commuting time if I work from home. Which means that if I normally start at 8 o'clock and return at 8 o'clock, so instead of going to the office, I sit at home and work. I'll be able to work for 12 hours instead of maybe 10 or 10.5 hours. So which means that the productivity will be better, time saver will be there, morale booster is there. You don't have to travel through the traffic and then these difficulties, productivity improvements, the waste useless meetings are also eliminated. And then becomes another option of issue. The office space also becomes surplus. Some people started surrendering their corporate office. Kavin Care corporate, they have surrendered their corporate office in Chennai. So the scenarios are changing. So what happens? When you have huge office space built, and then when you are moving back to work from home, which now in the current scenario, many of the activity it is possible to do that. Then why should they call everyone back to the office? Is it really required? If it is not required, then why should we do that? So that is one challenge. And then another challenge is that whether the workers return to hometown. There are 3.2 million people in India have gone to their home state. We have seen that now how they were traveling back to their thing. It was a difficult task to going back to home, but they have managed. Now the question will be whether once we restart our activity, whether they will be coming back. If they don't come back, what will happen? Our work will be affected. So that is another area now where the government also seriously thought about it now how we can overcome. So the corporates were started telling that at least okay, now the people are not coming back. I have reopened my factory. How do I work? Whether the available people I can engage them for 12 hours. So that is something which at least there the one issue. There is somebody raised a hand. Is there any question coming up or Bhagyalakshmi? Is there any question or by mistake? Okay.
By mistake, sir.
Okay. So what happens? The government has seriously started. They said that at least they are amending the Factories Act. Instead of 8 hours, people can allowed to work for 12 hours. There are a lot of challenges or there are a lot of resistance from the unions also. It did not stop there. The governments like, the Rajasthan, MP, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, they have gone and announced that 1,000 to 1,200 days, all the labor laws can be, or they have cancelled all that labor laws. They said only three laws will be applicable. One is to provide minimum wage. Second is to ensure safety, and third one is to ensure compensation for accident cases. Other than these three, rest are all scrapped. No labor laws need to be followed. You can go ahead and work. And they are encouraging people to come and invest on their state. That is what the government was saying. There were resistance. The UP government said that no, it is okay. We are withdrawing the changes. But the other governments, no, state governments, still continuing that. So when you do that, no, the unions also say that no, this is a law of jungles. If there is a dispute between the management and the union or the workers or employees, what happens? Where do they discuss and settle the issue? On the street? Because there are no machinery, no labor department, nothing will be available. So where do they sit and negotiate, discuss, sort out the issues? So that is one concern. And there are other issues like, they are all part of the world where, these many of the legislations are coming through the International Labour Organization, ILO. We are party to the ILO settlement, so the government of India is also part of ensuring that the labor legislations passed through or available in the country are to be, or their rights are to be taken care. So that is one side, whereas on the other side, the flexibility is something which everyone will be looking at, which is also required. So that is a point of concern for many people. So we need to be looking at on that. So when you do that, yes, there are challenges, but we need to be working on that. So we are still working on the new way of working. Moonlighting, a concept which has come up, getting more attraction. It is basically working in more than one company. Maybe in some of the areas, people work from 9 to 5 in one organization, and once the job is over, they switch off their work and switch off the computer and switch off the office and go home. And after that, till they come back next day morning, they are on their own. That was the past. That is a thing of the past. But now, on one side, it has become an extended working. But on the other side, this moonlighting is also getting popularized. People can do some of the part-time work on some other organization on their personal time, which is from after 5 p.m. in the evening till 9 o'clock in the next day morning. So that is one concept which is coming up, people started working on. Seat cost, as I was mentioning, at least, okay, when the number of people are coming down, the cost will be going up. What I have seen is that in our office, we can maximum accommodate 50 to 60% people only, protecting the 6 feet distance, the social distancing which the government is talking about. So which means that at least half the people will have to work from home. There are no other alternative, which is also indirectly, costing, the seat cost is also getting doubled. So that is also a concern. There are online offices, classes happening, a lot of things are happening on that side. The technology also, the Teams, Zooms, etc. is, getting popularized. A lot of platforms are coming in. Some of the new thing, which the Chartala, the organization, which has come up recently also, you must be familiar with all that. So these are all opportunities coming up to get into new business and new platforms so that everybody can be connected on technology and saving time and improving the productivity and working better. So that is happening. So I was mentioning about we stopped the punching, biometric punching. So then the question came, now how do we mark our attendance? When our factories were reopened, our factory people said that at least we need some technology or some solution so that at least we should be able to mark the attendance instead of the paper or a manual record. So our people thought about it, and we have done a simple thing on our mobile along with our mobile app. With one touch or two touch, the employees are now able to mark their attendance on their mobile. They don't have to touch any other gadgets, either on the punching machine or laptop or nothing. They can do it on the mobile itself. So while they are on the lift, while they are inside the compound, they are able to mark their attendance on the mobile itself. So that is a contactless attendance marking system we have brought in. Now you see that many organizations are coming, many calls are coming, series of requests are coming for Zoom meetings and all to get connected with the technology providers. They say that at least okay, we can provide contactless facilities for attendance, for their temperature recording, checking whether people are wearing mask. All this is possible at the entrance. If there is a camera is fixed with our technology, we will be able to provide all-in-one solution. The mask can be detected, the attendance can be recorded, your the thermal screening is also checking also is possible. So this is how new organizations are coming. These are all opportunities, coming into our industry. So that's how things are coming in. A lot of opportunities are coming in. So we should explore the possibility of how we can do that. So that is what at least we should be seriously looking at. And then I would say that the way forward is look towards understanding the trends and acquire matching skills. So if we are able to acquire skills which can match the requirements of the industry or the business, or find solutions for tomorrow, there is huge opportunity. Now we'll have to look at it, whether this is possible, whether our people can think beyond the normal levels and then come up with solutions. If we are able to provide solutions, there is an opportunity for getting to a new business and find a way of earning for yourself. So I thought of at least I was asked to, I don't know whether I have slightly exceeded 45 minutes time was given. I am almost done. So I thought at least giving you some thought for your thinking and coming up with the solutions by yourself. My purpose is only to facilitate your thought process so that you should be able to think and come up with solutions. So I don't have any time restriction. If you have questions, clarifications, doubts, agreement, disagreement, either way, I am okay. I look forward to listening to you and learning from you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we'll move on to our Q&A session. Everybody, please put on your video, unmute your audio, introduce yourself, and please start ask questions.
You are not audible? You're
Yes,
speaking?
sir.
Sorry, are you speaking? I thought
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Please start ask your questions. Please fasten up your questions, please.
I talked about many things. You can talk on any subject or any area.
Hi, sir.
Right.
My name is Arun. So my question is, so what are the strategies adopted by V-Guard to increase the performance and to decrease the attrition rate of the employees? So can you please explain about that?
Improvement on?
Improvement of performance and to lower the attrition rates. What are the kinds of things implemented by V-Guard to improve those? To improve the performance and lower the attrition rate in the V-Guard.
See, there are many tools are there. So we have known there is an annual appraisal process is also there, wherein we set the goal in the beginning of the year. So then periodically we review it, and end of the year we review the target versus the actual. So that is one way of handling it. And there is an environment wherein at least we encourage people to think about it and come back with these solutions. Our approach is like the Steve Jobs said, it does not make sense to hire smart people and then ask them what to do. We hire smart people to tell us what to do. You understand the difference? So we work with a lot of empowerment. So when I joined, my boss or my director or MD did not tell me that this is what is expected from you. This is what you should be doing. So they thought that, no, at least, okay, with this many years of experience in different exposure in different organizations, this person will be able to provide the HR solutions for the organization. So I thought about it now, how we should work on that. So definitely we should be looking at reducing cost and improving productivity. So this is how, when I started it, when I saw that, okay, one person resigned from the team. Then as usual, we have asked for a replacement and we started interviewing. Then some of my teammate people came and said that, why are you going for a recruitment? So we don't have too much work pressure. We will be able to take up some additional responsibility. We will, do the person who is left, his job, we will do it as an additional work. So then why do you want to recruit a person? We will manage. I said, okay, if that is possible, it is excellent. We will do that. Which means that, at least, okay, maybe 7-8 people at that time. If we are able to reduce one person, it is 10-15% productivity improvement with our existing people. It worked. So we did not hire, 2-3 people have left. We did not hire for replacement. So what we have done is that we have gone for automation. At that time, maybe 80 years back, there was one person looking after the attendance. His only job was to check the attendance across the country. I said there is no need for checking someone sitting in Cochin and checking the attendance across the country. Let the concerned branch office check the attendance of their people, maybe 20 people, 30 people, that they can do it without any difficulty. So in that process, in a couple of months' time, we have made that person surplus in our office, so that he can be given additional responsibility, new activity, so that instead of hiring a new person, I was able to redeploy one person. So this is helping in improving the productivity, reducing the cost. So we further worked on automation. When everything is done on the computer, so the dependence on people has come down. The computer started working. We started working with the small activity like manually instead of paper. We started switching over. The reason one is that at least, okay, we have an income tax. There are thousands of people paying income tax, and there will be a huge amount of documents being generated to be checked and verified for assessing calculating the correct tax. The volume of paper comes to like, the 15 box file. I hope you understand the box file is this size, huge one, which means that 15 box file, maybe it is a 5 feet long documents, which was being generated every year. So we realized that if it is growing like this, we may have to add one more person to the team, and we may need to provide more space for keeping the records also. We have decided to go for online. 1 year, we asked our IT people, they were not able, they have found some solution, but they were not able to implement it because of some security issue. So by the time we got another vendor who came and said that at least, okay, we can find a solution to you. We will do it in the cloud. When we checked with our IT people, if it is on cloud, there are no issues. We can agree to this. So in the next financial year, the new program was ready. We have completely eliminated this 15 box file documents. We have done it online. We saved the space, we saved the printing of stationery, handling of people, all that was saved, and then it was done. Without any difficulty, it is going smooth for the last 2-3 years. So this is a huge amount of the demonstration of improving on our system. So that way at least we don't have to. When there is a recruitment, we normally have a personal file of that employee, which will be about 30-40 sheet of paper. Their documents will be there, educational qualification, experience, all those documents will come up. So many records we were printing. So printing is a huge activity. Then we need somebody to handle all these papers, and then it becomes a waste of stationery. So we have converted that into the online one. So we can save the huge amount of volume of paper. That is also it is saving in multiple line levels, the saving people. And the cost of saving at least, okay, the investment is also a very small amount. So we are looking at creating automation so that the manual intervention is coming down, and people will be able to focus their time on more activity that will help in better performance, and it is giving much more comfort for people also, because their physical effort is coming down.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Gayatri, is Gayatri here? Gayatri, is Gayatri here?
Yes.
I think we have a question. Gayatri, am I audible?
Gayatri is muted. You need to open.
Okay, is Haifa here? Haifa?
Sir,
I think Fatima have a question. Yes, who is this?
okay, I have a question. How this Fatima? Okay,
Yes,
continue.
ma'am, can I ask?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, so I have a question. That apart from academics, what are the general selection criteria of let it be recruitment or any job?
Yeah, if you are hiring a fresher, then definitely the academic part will be there. So we take a lot of apprentices. So that is an area now, huge amount of people will be coming. If you say that there is one requirement, there will be 300 people coming in, which means that now we will normally keep a very high cutoff mark for 85-90% mark for the qualifying examinations, maybe from 10th standard onwards. So when we are competing with the people, at least we should have some criteria for that. Definitely, that's how it will come out. That is for the freshers. So when people are coming from different things, we need to have the lot of homework being done. People should be curious about what they are expected. Not only the academic part also. So they should have some understanding about the business as well. When I normally check, at least the habit of people reading newspaper, it is very limited. But at the same time, a lot of people use the mobile, internet, and other things for the updating their knowledge. So you need to be updating your knowledge on some of the basics. You should have some strong area. When you talk about a lot of specialization is happening, so people are very choosy, and there will be many rounds of discussions or the interview to identify, as I was mentioning earlier also, to identify the right candidate. It will be difficult, but that is the process. So you need to have depth of knowledge on your area of expertise. If it is an HR person, we naturally ask about something related to HR. So then I will tell you one example. When I was interviewing a candidate, I asked the candidate, what is your understanding of EGOT? So the candidate said, no, sorry, I could not go through the net and then find out. I asked what were you doing, why you didn't get time. At this time, there is not much of a time required. Anytime, anywhere, you can Google and find all this thing. But then the candidate said, no, sorry, I was playing with my cousins. So I felt very bad when somebody says that coming for an interview for a job and say that I was busy with playing with my cousin, that was the priority, then we should not be troubling them. On the other side, when we talk about something, people should be taking a cue from there and then start working something beyond that. I was having some discussion with one of my friends here, and I was talking about how we should be having some restructuring of the institution, that organization. One of my niece who was studying for MBA HR was with me. So she was also seriously listening to that and then come back and ask questions about ESI, PF and all that. Normally people doesn't go into that and then spend their time. So this is something, at least when they hear about something, they should learn something from there, then go into the deep and understand how the PF is calculated, how the ESI is calculated, how it is factoring in the the salary structure of an employee in an organization. This is something going beyond the normal. When somebody is showing interest like that, then it makes sense. So the basic issue is that at least we are not keen on learning on some of the things. If we are not keen on going into depth and understanding the concept well, then it will be difficult. We are competing with whom? I said about 1 lakh people in America, 15 lakh people in India. So the competition is 15 times bigger in India. So we should be good in our basics so that we should be able to express what we know. So that is how the interview will go. If we are asking about basics, if the candidate is showing interest, naturally the question will progress on that. If we are not able to understand the basic, question will then we'll look for the next candidate. So that is what we should be looking at. It depends on the thing. So when we are going for an interview, there must be some preparation definitely happening. So some homework is required. That is expected from a B school candidate, and then only we should be going in. So then when you talk about, at least when you talk sense, that is what people will be looking at. Not the people like, busy with playing with Microsoft. So you understand the differentiation. So
yes, sir.
That is what at least we should be focusing about the business seriously.
Thank you, sir.
Raised by Vidya. Could you please answer it, sir?
Which one?
So there is a question in chat box raised by Vidya.
Can you just tell him this? Can you read that out for him?
I'll read the question.
No, I'll read. Do you think the technical skill is required? Must to work?
Yes, sir, that is the one.
It is important. Then how can non-technical an MBA candidate will become employable? It is an important question. The technical, there are all jobs are need not be technical also. There are multiple jobs available in the country or in the world. Okay, so there will be something which is connected technical also. We are having so many engineers passing out every year, but many of them are going into a software because that is the opportunity there. So some mechanical engineers will say that no, I wanted to be in the hardcore subject only. I don't want to go for a thing. So there are options available. So wherever technical, some of the MBA students will have engineering background also. And it is not that critical that at least only engineers can understand some of the concepts. Anybody can understand some little bit of a basics. So it depends on whether you are interested in that area. If you are interested in that, acquiring some skill on that is not an issue. There are so many courses available. There are MOOC courses are available. Massive online the courses are available. So these are all opportunity where we need to understand to learn some specifics and then acquire the knowledge. Even if you get into a job, does it mean that it is over? I am talking after 35 years of working after my college days. Does it mean that now can I stop my study and live in this world? It's not possible. Can I talk to you what I have studied 35 years back to you now? Whether you will be interested in that? You will not be interested in that. So I spend a lot of time on researching on now what is happening around us. So many of this thing will be available in Google also. No, at least we Google it out. Sometimes we listen to some of the concept. We may not understand it when somebody says something. First time we are hearing it, we don't know what it is. So one of the session I was going to a college, one of our ISTD meeting. One of our national president was there, was interacting with us, and she was talking about the democratic dividend. Dividend I heard about it. Many companies are giving dividend. When she said about democratic dividend, I did not understand what it is. So she was even going to the Harvard and coming back. And she has been exposed to the learning across the world. She knows what is happening around. And she is coming back and saying something. Can I say that? No, at least, okay, I have not heard about this one, so this is nonsense. So then I was going for another college activity. Then I thought I was just Googling when I was traveling in the vehicle to the venue. I checked it and I found that no, there is a concept there, democratic dividend. Now everybody is talking about democratic dividend. So India has got the young population and the advantages associated with that is becoming the talk. So this is something which people are talking about. So once you do this, once you hear that, you can ignore it. You can go further into that and understand what it is. That is why I said about moonlighting. I was not familiar with moonlighting. Somehow, some meetings, somebody talk about that, and then we go into that and then realize that there is something like this. You don't need me telling that, but you can Google it. You can 1 minute you will get the information on the phone. So this is now it is coming. It doesn't take much of a time. It depends on your approach on understanding or learning. If that is there, I think the technical part will not be an issue. But unless you focus some of the area, at least it will be difficult also going forward because the challenges are different. We may not be getting an 8-hour job or a 9-hour job in a day in an organization. Maybe you may have to work from home and work for different organizations. So that is the concept I was trying to say. There is an opportunity. You have an expertise on some area. You can be with that. You can commit your time to 2-3 people also. I have hired a person at the age of 75 for a consultant work for 3 days in a week. You know why? Because he is an expert on a product like the fan in the country. We are starting up a new factory. When we are starting a factory, an expert person like him is available with us for consultation. It gives us the huge confidence level. So we have gone for him. We have not said that this is okay, 7 days, 9 to 5, you should be coming to the office. I said, I don't care about whether you are coming to the office or sitting at home. I have no issue. I need 3 days of a week's time available for our people for consultation discussion. That is sufficient. He has been doing the work for the last 2-3 years now. We have no issues. If the work is happening, that's how it is going on. So the technology is available. Even if I don't have the expertise on technology, but I can access it if I have money, it's not an issue. But if somebody can develop a skill also, that will be an added advantage. That's what I was saying. There is one more question on okay, a career mistake you have faced which has given you the biggest lesson. No, I have not done many mistakes. I don't remember it as such. But I have realized that at least we have heard about hiring and firing. Many people talk about hiring and firing. In Kerala, we don't talk about hiring and firing, which means that whenever you want to hire somebody, you can hire. Whenever you want to terminate him, you can ask him to go. It doesn't work here. There will be so many issues. Even if you fire a person, next day the union people will come. It will become a bigger issue. But I have seen that at least when I thought that at least okay, the hospital industry is a upcoming industry. So after working on manufacturing for maybe 10-15 years, I thought of now venturing into a different industry. So I've gone into hospital administration for a couple of years. There I found that at least okay, this is happening every day, hiring and firing. There are nurses are there, other staffs are there, marketing and other staffs are there. So we hire a person. If the chief is not happy with the person, on the spot termination will happen. So one day he told me that GM, you are not hiring people. You need to hire people. Next 1 week, I have interviewed 185 people. About 30-35 people in a day, in addition to my normal work. Out of that, now I was able to shortlist 12 people. Normally, people say that it is a 4% principle for hiring. You interview 100 people, you may be able to get 4 people. So I hired 12 people. In 1 month time, 2 months time now, all people whom I have hired, all are gone for something or the other. They were asked to go. So it becomes like that. Sometimes you don't have much of a choice. That is what we are seeing. So it happens at any level. The people are just called and said that it is okay. You can take the check and go. So I would say that it is okay. That is a great learning. So this can happen. This can happen to anyone. So, but that is a good learning which I also have learned. While we interview people, many cases people come back and say that it is okay. There are so many things promised. When I joined the company, many of the things promised is not there. So that is the reason why I wanted to change the job. So this is exactly happening in many places. People will talk many things, but when reality comes, it may not be there. So there may be an issue. So there are tough scenarios also, difficult scenarios, but we should utilize this opportunity for learning, and then work from there.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
In V-Guard, actually, how do you make your employees happy? Nowadays, HR managers, they are concerned about, the happiness index. Many times, whatever be the salary or even the non-monetary benefits, our people are actually not happy. So how to make them happy? And do you think, it's a relevant factor as far as the modern organization is concerned?
It is happening. I mentioned that we are an empowered organization. So we have a lot of freedom for our people to take decisions and then go forward. So when the empowerment is given, at least that is an opportunity for people. Maybe if I do outstanding work, I get the satisfaction that it is okay, whatever I wanted to propose, I proposed, got acceptance, it is implemented, seeing the results, that is a great achievement, satisfaction for me. Even if I don't do anything, people may not be asking me, people may not be questioning me, I still may be continuing also. But in some cases, at least, okay, how long you will be able to do that? There may be surprises coming up at some point of time. So when majority of the people are getting opportunity to work with the organization, learn, do things, and get happiness, and then the culture of the organization is also important. We have a lot of freedom in the organization, a lot of democracy is there, a lot of transparency is there. So we don't take arbitrary decisions. We have a lot of consensus coming up with the people being involved. So it may be a little bit of a time-taking process, but that process works well, and the people could see that at least okay the success of what they have been doing it. When they see the success, they are becoming happy. And then when you look at it now, when you go to another organization, why you are changing the organization? One, maybe your designation may not be attractive, so you will feel if I change my job, I am an engineer here, the other organization I can become a manager. Or my salary is X now, if I go to the other organization, I can get 2X. It's a big advantage in the thing. So I am going. Once I go there, I realize that at least both are, is not true. I got a designation, but I don't have any freedom to take a decision, or I don't have anything to do there. So, or the profile what was shown to me is not there. Then there is an issue. Or the money what they are saying is that also may not be clean. So then sometimes what happens is people will come back and say that no, within 1 month, sir, I am okay, I would like to come back, whether I can come back. So what does it mean? The money and the designation or the title, which they have seen outside, is not genuine. So they are saying that no, okay with my lower title and the money, but I am happy here. I can enjoy the work. I am able to manage many of the activity. It is fine. So that's how at least we also look at it. And then whatever systems what we are bringing into the organization, it is facilitating an employee experience. So that is very important. So we start the employee experience when they are a candidate. When they are a candidate, we do a lot of things online. We call it on a DigiDesk, which is an app on their mobile. We give access to them. They do their, the candidate, the filling of forms and all that. All that data they do, all uploading documents, everything can be done on mobile. They don't have to go to scanning center and do all this. They can save it whenever they have time at home. Conveniently, they can upload it. It's very convenient. So they really enjoy an excellent candidate experience. If they come to our office for an interview, what we have ARA, which is a visitor management software. You may be facing an iPad on our reception. You may be taking your picture online and then maybe entering the mobile number of the person whom you wanted to meet. Within seconds now, the message will go to the person concerned, and if he is available, he will give the acceptance. So the message will come back to you, allowing you to come inside the office. So the data requirement for our office is already done with the system. You are able to access the person whom you wanted to meet immediately, whether they are in the meeting or otherwise, and they can come in, or they get no if there is it is not convenient. So that is another experience now where they get it. It is an excellent visitor experience we provide. And the third time now they come as an employee. When they come as an employee, the first day when they come into the office, once they complete the documentation, everything is checked and found correct, we trigger the appointment letter. Within seconds, now they can see the appointment letter in their mobile itself. Normally, documentation is a humongous activity for us in our office. Now, people are there in Guwahati to Jammu to Ahmedabad. These people will have to accept the appointment letter, send it back to, signed copy, send it back to the corporate office. It may come, it may not come, we may have to follow up. But when they read it on the computer, on the mobile, and when they accept it, I get the signed copy by the candidate in my system. My documentation process is complete, and they get it instant on the time. So this is an excellent, the employee experience we start to give on the day one. Like that, no, most of the activity what they are doing, it is available on their thing. So if I wanted to regularize my attendance, I can do it anywhere. I can sit here and do it. I can, while traveling in the vehicle, I can do that. Like that, no, the lot of flexibility is given. So this gives a lot of employee experience. So we are hiring people from all the major corporates in the country. The people who are coming from the huge corporates in the country, they say that, no, at least, okay, this is a delight for us, which is coming from V-Guard, which is not seen from any of our previous organizations. Whether it is the global consulting companies like Accenture, Deloitte, Ernst & Young, or any other consultant companies, or the organizations, larger organizations like Havels, Crompton, the Bajaj, or any Orient, so Luminous. So they come back and say that, no, at least, okay, this is a unique experience we have seen here. So this is something which, we give to our people. This is an employee experience. People enjoy it. This is one of the best in the country. That is what we provide to our people. So naturally, our people get happy and enjoying in their work, and they continue to work with the organization.
Thank you, sir.
I must compliment on the excellent corporate office that V-Guard has, sir. It is one of the best offices that personally I have seen. It has so much of positive vibe and feel with all that greenery around. It's quite special, and the workplace must be quite good for them.
Yeah, yes, they did. Good meeting you. Yeah, there was one more question which was on what is the salary, what are benefits and perks provided to the employees. Then another question is, so my question is that have you considered any strategic plans that will help your company to bounce back into its normal state once the pandemic is over? So we are continuously working on that, on new ways of doing it. We are also working on new products, product launch. We are also working on e-commerce. That is what is happening now. Now the people doesn't go to the shop for buying a refrigerator or a washing machine or an AC. They do it online, and the product is delivered at home, installed, or a water heater. Whatever products are there, stabilizer, water heater, the home appliances, mixer grinders. So these are all available, and people are buying it. In the current scenario, going to multiple shops for checking and all is difficult. and the rates quoted in e-commerce also is very attractive rates. So there is an opportunity. People are focused. We are also consciously working on that. Some of our the products are available. Breakfast appliances are already available online, which is not otherwise sold in the shops. So we do many of the products online also. So that is a business segment where we are looking at to come back once the business is bounce back. Definitely, we are ready with new products and new features added every year. So the smart features we have added to our products. Now this is all done with the best brains in the country, in our R&D teams. So definitely that helps in getting good business for our industry.
Thank you so much, sir. Is there any other questions? Or shall we wind up the... Yes, sir.
I think I have answered all questions from the chat. Yeah, if you have any questions, we can. I have no issue, but if you don't have a question, we can wind up.
Can we end this session, or is there anyone want to shoot a question to sir?
Yeah, the final thing I would say that at least, okay, what is important is that when you will be getting a lot of corporate people coming to the office, coming either online or directly to the office for interaction. See, what is important is that at least we should be doing some preparation, homework, to understand that do some research on the profile of the person who is coming in. That will help you prepare your questions and ask questions. What can happen is, if the content of the presentation is not very interesting, maybe we can supplement that with the question answer. So what can happen is, if we don't come with some presentation, if there are no questions, then the interaction will end up in 10-15 minutes also. You understand the issue. So we need to have something to trigger some thought process. But that is on one side. Some instant questions coming out of the deliberation will be there. That is on one side. The other side is, at least like going to the class prepared for today's session. It will give you a better advantage on asking some questions. Maybe that you can get a better answer or a better solutions from the speaker's knowledge also. So that's what I thought of now. At least, okay, the basic issue is that unless you are prepared, you do the homework and prepare, then the results may not be that encouraging. So your results will be commensurate with your effort. So you decide on what is your effort so that you can get a better result.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable presence. Now I invite our Dean, Corporate Relations, Dr. Alexander Itti, to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion.
Thank you, Aishwarya. Thanks a lot.
Welcome.
In fact, Kochi Business School was largely supported by the V-Guard Industries and the Chittilepalli Foundation. Last year, we had the Honorable Chairman, Mr. Joseph, in the campus. We had Dr. George Sliba in the campus. And George sir also was in the batch 6 convocation as our guest of honor. So by large, V-Guard and Chittilepalli Foundation has helped us a lot in our journey. So I take this opportunity to pledge all my thanks and my gratitude to Mr. P.T. George. He's a man who is approachable. And whenever I need, as he said correctly, the visitor experience at the V-Guard corporate house is exemplary. A facial recognition, a sign on the iPad, the mobile phones being entered, and the visitor experience you get at the corporate house is something very impressive, which I haven't even received or seen such kind of experience in even the Middle East or any kind of European countries. That's a really exemplary experience I had. So whenever I had a need of an internships or anything or any kind of a thing, I used to get an access. I used to meet him. He's a man who is much more approachable, very cooperative, and whenever I have went to him with a need or a request, he has never disappointed me. He has always encouraged me. So, sir, on behalf of the KBS management, the principal, the faculty, and the entire staff and students, I give a thankfulness from the depth of my heart, which no words can be expressed for. And we need your continuous support, sir. And I take this opportunity also to thank everybody, the students, the faculty, the principal, the batch coordinators, and the IT coordinator, Mr. Puttu, sir. Everybody who has made this session a beautiful one, a wonderful one, a productive one. And thank you, Aishwarya Dilip, once again for your wonderful anchoring.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
We will have more of them in line, like Fatima Omar will have many in line. And thank you so much for the session. And I once again thank the guest, the Vice President of V-Guard, Mr. P.T. George. And as a token of love, sir, we will be sending you the gift by courier. Unfortunately, we cannot give you because it's an online process. So we'll be sending you the gift by courier. Thank you so much once again. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Thank you, Aishwarya.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.